Hello, Marty.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. I'm very happy, honored, and excited to be here with you.
Me too, yeah.
When they first asked me if I wanted to interview you, it was an honor because actually our stories are a bit similar. Because you moved to Japan when you were very young. I moved to China when I was very young. And I learned the language, and you learned the language as well.
Oh, wow.
And we're both musicians. But like I also read in your book, in Japan, many people know you for things outside of music, more than music, which is the same for me because I got to
see. You're the Chinese version.
Well, aspiring version, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Chinese is harder than Japanese.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Well, I think Japanese is harder than Chinese.
Well, you don't have the phonetic.
Yes.
To start off, kind of get warmed up with the phonetic. You got to go straight into the kanji.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, so because of the culture and the language, I want to ask first a couple of questions about like Eastern culture.
Sure.
What first attracted you to like Japanese culture or Asian culture?
First was music.
Okay.
First was the music, and I'd never thought in a million years that I would live in Japan.
Okay.
And then the more I came to Japan on tour, I started to really get into the music even more to the point where I wasn't listening to American music anymore.
Okay.
And I was speaking Japanese as a hobby. And then the more I went, I just kept speaking more and more and started to get pretty good at it and started to think, if I want to do the music that I want to do, I have to be in Japan to do it. And then I guess my Japanese is good enough, and I tried it, and it was all right.
Okay. What do you think we can learn from Eastern cultures or from Japanese or Chinese culture?
Well, every culture's totally different. Every country you go to, it's one thing to be a tourist and another thing to live.
Exactly, yes.
And another thing to go on tour with the band. Because when you're on tour with the band, it's not like living there, and it's not like being a tourist. It's like being in a bubble where everybody takes care of everything. But as I'm sure you know, when you come by yourself to live, you got to do the things like, you know, bank accounts, insurance, visas, and all the boring stuff that no one teaches you how to do in another language. So it's very challenging, that part. But yeah, you can learn something from any country that you go to.
Okay. And then when you first started learning Japanese, how did you get into that? Because it's not that easy.
I first started because the first time I went on tour, the staff was so nice. I wanted to like at least, you know, be able to say "shei pokachi" to them.
Hey, nice.
I wanted to say that much, and they really encouraged me. And little by little, I just started learning more for fun. And then next thing you know, I'm pretty fluent.
Okay. So no secrets how to get.
There's no secret to anything. That's the secret.
Yeah.
There's no shortcut.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you know, there's no shortcut to music. You get exactly as good as the amount of experiences you have. So the experience you have in Japan or any country, that's how well you speak. That's how well you communicate. There's no tricks. Like, despite what the internet might say, trying to sell you something, there's nothing like living there and having the experience.
Yeah, you have to really dive into it and then be open. Yeah, that's for sure.
There's I don't know if they have it in Isoga Maware de Chugoku wa ariso da yo ne. Isoga Maware. It's like a, you know, proverbs. I'm sure Chinese have great proverbs.
Yes, a lot.
One of my favorite ones in Japanese is the shortcut is the long way. It's so much easier to just go straight rather than trying to find a shortcut, getting lost, and realizing it wasn't faster in the first place. So I'm sure there's something in Chinese similar.
Yes, that's sure. Now that you've lived in Japan for such a long time and you speak Japanese daily, you also think in Japanese, I guess.
Yeah.
Does it affect you when you have to speak English?
A little bit at first. Sometimes the word comes first in Japanese. I'm sure you know the same thing. Yes. When you suddenly are in an English-speaking environment, like I am here in China. Yeah, the English word doesn't come as quick, and sometimes one is better for communicating than the other. But, you know, English is my native language.
Yeah, you never forget it, for sure. Yeah.
Are you from America?
No, I'm from Belgium.
Belgium?
Yeah.
Your English sounds more perfect than American English.
No, thank you. I
would have never
like
guessed.
languages, so yeah.
Wow.
Have you ever been in Belgium?
Of course, many times, yeah.
Which city do you like?
Many of them. French fries and chocolate. Waffles.
Belgian fries, chocolate
Yeah,
and waffles, and beer, I guess.
Beer, yeah.
Okay, now into the music. Were you ever interested in classical music?
Yes, all the time, and still now playing it and learning from it.
Okay, what do you think non-classical musicians could learn from classical music and vice versa?
Well, you have to have some sort of interest in it, or else there's no point in learning it. I'll never be a real classical musician, but I've learned so much from classical music and have played classical music as a soloist with many big orchestras, which is an honor, and it takes so much work to do, but it's a whole different lifestyle to do it for real on the daily, you know what I mean? For example, I'll do like a concert, like maybe the most recent was I did a big Dvorak thing, and it was like 25 minutes of just playing without stopping. And that's very weird. And all the cues are different from a rock band. And it took a lot of practicing and rehearsing and learning in a different way. So I learned a ton from it. And I've done that several times. And it's always, you get nervous because it's not like playing a rock band I do since I was a baby.
It's outside of the comfort zone. You know?
I love doing it more than anything because it's such a thrill.
I guess when you play with those classical musicians, they also can learn from you.
Yeah, it's like another Japanese proverb, you know, tonari no shibafa. It's like the grass is greener on the other side. You know, those guys want to rock out and shake their asses and bang their heads. And I want to like be in the big crescendos of classical music. So it's like we both admire each other.
Yes, and I think actually classical musicians should be more free sometimes, even within classical music. They could be more rock in.
They can't do it though. They really can't. It's. I've learned so much about the world of classical music, and it's very.
Yeah, I know. My family are all classical musicians.
Toned down. It's like I heard about a guy who got fired from the orchestra for wearing red socks.
Oh, I would be fired today.
Oh, he would be fired. The full black suit and a little bit of his sock came out. It was a little bit red. Was fired.
Oh,
so
that's
crazy job.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah. What do you think the real purpose of music is? Is there more to it than amusement?
Oh yes, it's the most healing thing in the world. Music is always there. Like other things are not always there. Friends, family, working people. You like them to be there all the time, but sometimes they're far away or they're not around or they don't like you anymore or whatever. But the music, it's like it stays in there from a long time ago, and it's like a stamp. Sometimes you'll hear a song from some years ago and it brings it all back, and that's the only thing that didn't change. You change, your friends change, family change, but so that's what's wonderful about music. And the fact that we can make that is just like really cool.
That's true, yeah. I know that you've worked with Chinese artists before, like for example, I think you played with her before.
Yeah.
How was that?
I loved it. It was wonderful. I was the only American. The band that was Japanese. Everybody else was different parts of China, Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, Singapore. There was like maybe 50 or 60 people on that whole thing. And it was like going to camp from different people of different cultures.
Nice.
And everybody was like, you know, trading words and teaching each other things. And of course, learning all the bad words in every country and making people say with their accents. And it was all with the purpose of putting on this huge show every night in different cities. So it's just like such a wonderful experience. And Ame is such a sweetheart. We had a very, very good chemistry playing together. And I hope she calls me again.
Well, I was going to ask, would you ever do that or play with more like local Chinese artists?
I'm gonna make my same appeal I've been saying, and she knows what I'm gonna say. For every interview of anything having to do with China, Jay Chow, if you're watching this, please call me. I will fly anywhere to work with you in any capacity. Okay. There, I've said it.
Okay. Yeah. If I meet him, I'll ask him.
Please ask him.
Cool.
Yeah, he's like my favorite Chinese artist.
Cool. What would be your favorite instrument if you couldn't choose the guitar?
Actually, the Chinese erhu.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, that's like I'm kind of emulating that sound a lot on my guitar, subliminally and purposefully. I like the erhu a lot, and I like violin and viola and cello and.
Okay, like string.
But erhu is like I love the expression of that.
If you ever tried to play it yourself.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. I tried it once. It's not my thing.
Let the pros do it.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I've seen the interview with Rick Beato. You were talking about guitar being not as present anymore in popular music. Do you think that's going to change in the foreseeable?
It goes up and down in popularity as an instrument. But the great thing about now is social media is just such a big supporter of guitar. Just right now, I did 2 things that are, without social media, no one would know what they are. But I did a great collaboration with Ichikanito. And it's all over social media now. And that gets people like who sit around watching the internet all day to play guitar. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if there wasn't interest in guitar from those people, they'd be playing games or other things. But it's wonderful to see those people feel the fun of playing guitar and get the satisfaction. I'm sure it's fun playing video games too, but like it's wonderful to play an instrument with your hands and not just a computer. And so thanks to social media, there's a lot of excitement in the guitar. And coming to China to play, it's like guitar is relatively fresh. So I've been coming here for a long time. So a lot of people, the first time they hear guitar playing, it might have been me playing. So I'm very honored. I think Chinese people get it because stringed instruments is a part of their history. And the sound of an electric guitar is probably very fresh and very comforting because they're used to erhus and I don't know the names of those other pipa. And this one. Yeah, that one, yeah. And so I think it's very good to play guitar in China, and I love having a chance to come here anytime.
Well, we love having you here.
Yeah, I like being here.
How is your process when you compose music?
Writing all the time. If I have an idea, I'll record it or write it down and then work on it later. Or if I hear something like in the background that I like for like 3 seconds, I will steal it.
Okay.
And then work on it later.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you've played all over the world. Which city or country sticks out and what for?
It's impossible because every country is so different. Of course, I love Japanese music in the country of Japan enough to move there, so that would be a good answer. But again, playing in China is different because different kind of people react to the guitar and my music differently. And I have a very Chinese soul in my music somewhere. I don't know how it got in there, living in Hawaii maybe, and listening to a lot of Chinese classical music and picking it up. So I have kind of a Chinese soul, so there's a special connection there. But I also played in Turkey a little while ago, and I have a very Eastern European thing in here too. So like all of those things come out. Of course, I'm American, and being in America, that definitely comes out too. So I can't really pick a favorite, really.
Yeah, I guess also traveling a lot makes it come out because you've been to all these places. So
yeah, and every time you go there, you get some kind of new experience. I mean, I remember the first time I heard Jay Chou, I was in Taiwan, it was on the radio, and I went crazy. I'm like, let's go buy this now. And so like this happens in a lot of different countries. You'll hear something like who's the biggest singer in Israel or whatever, or in Belgium. And you'll say, oh, I like that. Let's go buy that. And so that's where my collection comes from.
Cool. About guitar, do you remember what your first guitar was?
Yeah, it was a piece of junk, $100. $100 junk Les Paul copy, yeah.
You still have it?
No,
By
no.
a chance, okay.
I'm not sentimental about guitars.
Okay, good. Any tips for aspiring guitarists or even non-guitarists, but people interested in cultural language? Any tips?
As you probably know, you're also a musician. Language, if you are a musician, it kind of gives you a slight edge because you're used to listening closely to things. And in learning language, you have to listen closely. And you get in the habit of listening closely. If you're only speaking your own language, you don't really need to pay attention. You just understand everything. But when you're speaking another language, you listen in, just like you're a musician listening to what the bass player's doing, what the keyboard's doing. So being a musician helps the language with your ears. But like I said, there's no shortcut. You just have to do it all the time and stay away from things that waste your time, like too much social media and, of course, drugs and alcohol. Stay away.
Well, a bit of social media because they have to see what you're doing. But
I agree with that. But I think you should be responsible and stay positive. Because what happens, there's something in guitarists. What instrument do you play?
Guitar, bass, drums, and keyboard.
There's something that's born in guitarists. When we're little kids, we have this thing in ourselves that we watch another guitar player and they go, that guy sucks. That guy sucks. I can do better than that. It's a very natural, all guitarists have this. But now with social media, you can go crazy in that negative direction.
Yes.
So I think it's very important to avoid that. Because there's two kinds of people. There's people creating the music, and then there's other people who are criticizing it. So you have to choose one. You can't do both. So that's very important with social media. Stay away from
the negative.
Any kind of negativity. Spend that energy on developing your own thing and creating music. And that's good advice for nowadays. Usually kids get over that stuff when they're 13, 14. But it's so tempting to go watch on a video and then anonymously write some stuff on there. That's a very bad direction to go. So that's my advice.
Okay, cool. Last thing. I would like to teach you a little sentence in Shanghainese because I also actually speak the dialect. Is there anything you want me to teach you?
What should I learn?
And I'll ask you the same to teach me a language.
Oh, okay, I know. What's the spiciest thing on the menu? What's the hottest thing you have? The easiest way.
唔要吃，
唔要吃，
最辣，
最麻辣，
辣个，
辣辣，
辣个，
辣辣，
辣个，辣个，唔要吃，
唔要吃，
最辣个。
Ooh la la. That's too hard. How do you just say extra spicy?
Gala.
Gala.
Add spice to it.
Gala. Gala.
Okay.
Gala. Okay. Yes.
Okay, and now I'm not gonna just whatever you want me to say in Japanese.
Oh, what do you want to say in Japanese? I'm smart. Watashi wa baka desu.
No, I know what it is.
No. You can't do this.
Watashi wa not baka desu.
Ah, he tricked me. I used to have this shirt that was written in Japanese that says, Watashi wa baka na gaijin desu.
Yeah.
And I wore it on an airplane one time.
What is a nice thing to learn in Japanese?
Okay.
Maybe a nice program.
Oh, here's a good thing to say. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
You already know that one.
Yeah. Hajimemashite, dojo yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Oh.
No, maybe a proverb. A nice proverb.
Okay, I got one for you. Tonari no shibafu ga aoku mieru.
Okay, can you say that?
Tonari no shibafu ga aoku mieru.
Aoku.
Tadashi?
Aoku
mieru.
Aoku mieru. Okay.
Tonari no shibafu wa aoku mieru.
Tonari naru ka?
Tonari no shibafu wa
Tonari ni bashu wa? Oh, it's very difficult. It's a bit difficult. What does it mean?
It means the grass is greener on the other side.
Okay.
Tonari no kyaku wa yoku kaku kyaku da.
Tonari yo kaku kya.
That's even Japanese cannot say that.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah. Nice, good.
It's all. 大変お疲れ様でした。大変お疲れ様でした。
大変お疲れ様でした。Okay.
That's like.
Yeah, you don't need to say that.
You don't need to say it.
Yeah, but お疲れ様でした, I know, yeah. But it's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay. Last thing, I would like to ask if you want to sign your book.
Absolutely, sure.
I have, it was hard to get in China.
お互い変な国語を教えたりするのはこの二人絶対笑ってる。You guys are both laughing at us butchering the languages.
But that's how you learn, basically.
Yeah. How do you spell Tobias?
Like you, Tobias. Maybe write the proverb in Japanese there,
Okay.
if you can. Thank you.
とんでもございません。
Thank you very much.
勝ち。
And next time you come to China, I want to play with you.
Oh, yeah.
That
Would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, we'll do a jamming one.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Maybe one picture for the